Hello and welcome to the Wales YFC podcast, YFC and Me. Thank you for supporting the movement by listening to this podcast, and I hope you enjoy the guest that's about to speak.
I am one of hundreds of people that are proud to work for NFU Cymru, an organisation that's been supporting farmers and growers since 1908. Whether it's our highly successful representation, first-class advice and guidance, or substantial services and discounts, we're delivering a more productive and profitable industry for our members. Run by farmers, for farmers, we've been here for you for 110 years. And, with more members joining every day, we'll be here for you over the next 110 too. To become a member or find out more, just search NFU Cymru.
At the 30th Royal Welsh Winter Fair, and I'm joined in Llanelwedd for the podcast by Hannah Thomas. And although you can't see her, you'll soon hear her, but she is a very familiar face to many of us, those of us who tune into ITV. Hannah, tell us about yourself, where you come from, what you do at the moment.
So at the moment, I'm part of ITV Wales, obviously, and I do the news programme, Wales at 6, and Coast and Country programme, and that's really our flagship programme, Elin, as far as countryside issues go, rural affairs, and it's something I think that our audience are really picking up. We've got wonderful viewing figures at the moment, and that in part is thanks to you guys here in the farming community for tuning in and spreading the word, and I hope we really reflect those rural issues. It's something I've always wanted to do since I was about 10 years of age. You know, it happened here on the showground. This was where my dream began, to go into rural affairs journalism. I always wanted to work in television, and when I joined ITV, that was always a sort of ambition longer term, and over the past few years I think I've developed that more and more. My patch has sort of gone up as far as sort of London Wales, and I've got more and more farming communities into our coverage on Wales at 6, and I think that's going down really well actually. Sometimes we forget that there's 80% of the land here in Wales is farmed, 35,000 farms roughly in Wales. It's a big audience and it's working well at the moment.
Now you're a Merthyr girl, Hannah, and although obviously your career's been kind of steered towards rural affairs and you've met lots and lots of young farmers along the way, you weren't a young farmer yourself, you weren't a YFC member, but of course you've got to know many of the characters of the movement and what the movement gets up to. And what do you think of it?
Fantastic. I mean, I think it develops skills for later in life, not just within farming, but it sounds really odd. I'm speaking to you now and I see a presenter looking back at me. I don't see somebody who's gone to Oxford and done biology. I see somebody who's actually doing my job. And that's primarily is not just down to your talent, but also the YFC, because public speaking events involved with the movement and having that confidence to get up on stage and talk to, you know, maybe hundreds of people in front of you, that's what the YFC does. It's a vital part of our rural communities. And I think, you know, with the average age of a farmer increasing all the time, I think it's now in its 60s in Wales, this is a vital thing to have really, because it means that, you know, young farmers coming through all the time. I try and incorporate as many young farmers as I can in our coverage, because that's the way the industry has to go. And I think, you know, it's a great way of linking up with those communities, and as I say, developing your all-round skills.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if you were a young farmer, given the breadth of the opportunities available to those who are members of the movement, what do you think your favourite competition might have been? What would you like to have had a go at if you were 26 years now and could join the movement?
Oh, that's a question. Well, I was always known as a little bit of a diva in school. I was a bit of a performer. So I liked being on stage, loved acting, loved singing, as well as sort of speaking. So I'd probably have a go at those kind of competitions, more than the sort of livestock judging, if you like. I'd probably like to be the drama queen, if you like, because there's no ego in me whatsoever, I can assure you.
I'm sure you turn your hand to a stock judging competition, if ever you want to have a go. There are plenty of us that will give you the opportunity to do that. But you are past the age at which you could compete in Young Farmers. However, you do get stuck in with the movement in different ways. And you tell me that you're judging soon. You've done some judging for YFC in the past, and you've got another stint coming up.
Absolutely, yeah. It's an honour really for me, because I think, you know, it's a great news that everybody's watching ITV, watching what I do, and watching the output that we are producing as far as Wales at 6 is concerned and Coasties Country's producing. And actually, it's on everybody's radar, and that means that they like to get in touch. I'm judging at the Frycheiniog YFC annual event on Saturday the 7th of December. Really looking forward to that. So I'm coming back to the showground here for that.
One of your favourite places?
One of my favourite places. And it's great that everybody is actually aware of what we're doing, is picking up on it, and is eager to get me involved because of the company I work for.
Yeah, that is excellent, and we're really grateful for you to you as well for for giving your time in that way. So I'm sure during your career, I mean, you've had so many highlights, and I'm sure you've got to interview so many interesting people. I saw you earlier on this morning following Boris around, actually Boris Johnson, as we watched him have a go at land trimming in the sheep section. Actually, shown how to do it by a wonderful young farmer himself, Alan Graucock from Gwent, who's learned the craft probably through Young Farmers competitions. So that was very interesting to see. What would you say has been your highlight, the highlight of your career? What's the best interview you've, the most memorable of your interviews?
Oh my gosh, that's really putting me on the spot, it really is. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Unfortunately, I didn't get to interview Boris earlier this afternoon, so actually I've never interviewed a sitting Prime Minister, that's a fact.
So that's on the list.
Absolutely. However, I have seen 3 sitting Prime Ministers here at the Royal Welsh Show. Boris Johnson, Theresa May and David Cameron, of course, all came to the showground over the past few years. I think this may have been the first one to come to the Winter Fair. Maybe wrong in saying that, but I think that's the first one. But I'm so lucky to be able to interview so many people, and actually it's not about famous people. I love interviewing ordinary people who have a passion, have a real strong work ethic, and a desperate sort of showcase what they do and just love what they're doing. And I think it really does shine through, and that's the sort of people I enjoy speaking to.
Yeah, and there are so many of them involved in agriculture, aren't there? So many that you've already come across, and I'm sure so many more to come across as well.
Absolutely. I think, we'd all say that, the highlight of our year is the Royal Welsh Show. Winter Fair is a little bit scaled down for us, but certainly during the summer show, we are here en masse. There's probably about 20 of us as part of ITV in our building by the side of the main ring. And we're all really enthusiastic about giving agriculture the best coverage we can during that week of the year. And we love it. It's what we all enjoy doing. We all look forward to it. We all work as a team. And I'd like to think that actually our coverage does stand out because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for any young farmers who might be interested in following the kind of career path that you followed, do you have any advice for them?
I think I definitely sort of ask if they can go on work experience, if it was in broadcasting. Why not in this modern day and age, which I didn't have when I was younger. I mean, you've got this podcasting machine here. Why not do a video diary or something on your farm and show exactly what you're doing and send it in to especially if you speak Welsh, send it in to ITV, BBC, S4C, and just put yourself out there, and hopefully we'll get some feedback from that. I remember there was a gentleman down in Tregaron, Hugh, he was part of our Coast and Country mix-up for a while. He did a diary down in Tregaron about sort of gardening and his sort of skills there. He had a channel as well on, I think it was YouTube, and he sort of really shone through, and if you've got a talent, you've got a natural ability to be on screen, why not? Just show people.
Yeah. There's a call to arms then for
definitely,
for farmers. Do you think as an industry then we do enough of that, of video diaries and the like, showcasing what we do and why our industry is so important?
I don't think you do, no. I think I'd like to think, I'm not going to single names out here, but I know there's a few farmers that really sort of spring to mind over the last few years, have massively put themselves out there. Joe Public knows who they are now, and they've sort of shown what their industry is all about, and made people aware of just what goes on in Wales' rural communities, I think. And I think, that if the industry is to survive, I think that massively needs to be done, because, dare I say it, maybe all of us need to be educated that bit more on what actually happens, and maybe dispel some of the myths out there, because there's lots of different viewpoints about climate change, about veganism and healthy eating, and whether red meat is part of that picture. And actually, perhaps if farmers were to put their side of the story, because it always has to be balanced, remember, we are journalists, we have to reflect the vegan side, the scientific side, there's lots of different views out there, but just make themselves maybe part of that mix, so we all get a variety of viewpoints.
Absolutely. I think as you say, there is a story to be told. The time has never been right then. I guess our movement should be at the heart of telling that story, shouldn't it? So Hannah, you've got a young boy, Tristan.
I have indeed, yes.
At home in Merthyr Tydfil. So do you think he's going to be a member of the YFC movement?
Well, let's put it this way. He's got a farm for Christmas and he's got a John Deere tractor to go around remote controlling. So I am trying already to get him into the farming spirit of things.
I would say all the signs are there. I'd say that we'll see him in YFC, we'll see him here probably exhibiting in years to come. And just to tell you, I mean, the best club in Wales happens to be just over the mountain from you in Merthyr, and that's in Bridge, Hannah. And I can assure you
Bridge,
that
yes.
a very warm welcome will await Tristan and yourself in Bridge any day.
Well, that's where he'll end up then.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me, Hannah.
Nadolig llawen.
Nadolig llawen I ti hefyd. Diolch.
Thank you for listening to the Wales YFC podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any other episodes coming up. And thank you for supporting our movement once again. Until the next time, we look forward to seeing you then.